Keefe D's bail reconsideration hearing coming up on the 23rd. Also, Keefe D's lawyers say he wants to make a television show in likes of the OJ trial and Michael Jackson trial because he wants to secure his legacy in regards to covering this. Is this about Keefe D or is this about his lawyer? Oh, let's get into some of this straight game.
Life is like some cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, click on the thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm gonna get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We know that a few weeks ago that Keefe D was denied bail. Keefe D's lawyer has filed a motion for reconsideration of that bail, and the date is coming up on July 23rd, if you will, which will be Tuesday. And so that's not even the half of it. So Keefe D's lawyer has been in the media recently, basically fighting the public opinion or the court of public opinion case in regards to his client. We know just recently that the prosecutors in the case involving the murder of Tupac Shakur have actually found receipts, they say, that places Keefe D in Las Vegas, because his whole defense has been he was never in Las Vegas, he wasn't there, it was all a lie, I did it for money and fame. Also, they submitted information in regards to the situation and him getting a proffer deal, and they have not, or should I say Keefe D's lawyer has not submitted any proffer deal or any notification of submission yet, in which, or he's saying that they were going to, present that as evidence that Keefe D had some kind of proffer deal with the United States Attorney's Office, FBI, in dealing with the Los Angeles situation that actually got him to confess his involved with the Tupac murder. But Keefe D's lawyer just did an interview, and this interview is so perplexing, right? Basically, he's saying that Keefe D has been inundated with requests for television shows, and that Keefe D's lawyer says that he wants to make a reality television show, if you will, basically covering Keefe D's, if Keefe D can get out on bail, basically covering the preparation for the trial, in regards to them fighting the case, the murder case for Keefe D. What do you guys think about that? Me personally, I really don't care. I mean, like I said, at this particular point, because I feel like if there's any reality TV show made, I think in trying to now say that something, this is how I see it. When Keefe D first testified that his involvement, that made it interesting. He wrote the book. That made it interesting that he would even come out. Greg Kading's murder rap that brung it to the forefront for everybody to really know about the case. And so that was the interesting part that I think everybody was interested in, based on the fact when everybody came and wanted to interview Keefe D and get him to talk about his book, talk about what really happened from his perspective. And Keefe D basically went on these platforms and he talked about those things, right? That part right there, I think at that particular point was television worthy, story worthy, if you will. And that's when I think Keefe D should have been probably trying to work out some kind of deal to do a television deal. Not to say that he can't do one now in regards to what Keefe D's lawyer is saying. But the thing that I was perplexed about is basically Carl Arnold basically saying that Keefe D faces life in prison. if he's found guilty of the murder of Tupac Shakur. But he's basically saying he wants to strike a deal with TV broadcasters to showcase his efforts at saving Keefe D, even though the former gangster has made several confessions to be a shot caller in the case, right? And basically, they're saying that they're optimistic about, some kind of contract being signed. Remember, the judge denied Keefe D's bail because basically the Son of Sam law in Vegas, which they have a law based on the fact that one who is involved in a murder. And so this is where it's unclear whether you're convicted of the murder or just charged in the murder, right? So if you're convicted of it, then you can't make money. Keefe D is innocent until proven guilty. This is what his lawyer's argument, saying, okay, he's innocent until proven guilty. So until he's convicted of it, he can surely make money off of talking about the Tupac situation. I'm not sure, how that works. That could be a possibility. But Keefe D's lawyer's arguing that the judge was wrong in the case and not giving him bail from that perspective. So now, among other reasons, the judge was saying that where the money came from was a problem. She's seen certain things in the money trail, but certain things didn't satisfy her from that perspective. So therefore, the bail was denied. Now, this new revelation as to Keefe D's lawyer wanting to do a TV show in regards to him trying to fight for Keefe D's freedom, right? And they're optimistic about it in regards to what Judge Carly Kearney, if she signs off the release from him getting bail, right? At the bail reconsideration hearing coming up on the 23rd, if she signs off on that, they're optimistic that they can do some kind of TV deal in where the cameras would follow the lawyer around and him talking to Keefe D, meeting with Keefe D, and so on and so forth. Like I said, I don't have no problem with that. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, But this is the thing that I have trouble with. Okay, from that perspective. Well, let's delve into this first. Let's delve into this because it'll help you give you some perspective on it, and then I'll go on further. Okay, the main issue for Davis in filming a documentary about his case, his statements and comments on the killing of Tupac Shakur on September 7, 1996. The 61-year-old has given multiple media interviews and even taped police interviews admitting that he was the shot caller for the kill. Keefe is unlikely to give evidence on the stand of his November first-degree murder trial, right? But his lawyer cites his defense will be that he simply fabricated his role for fame and money. And I like I said, you got to understand this for what it's really worth, right? They're hoping to get a TV deal. But in Hollywood, and I told you guys this before too, one senior Los Angeles-based TV executive said it is unlikely a TV production company will pay millions for an old gangster saying his entire life was a lie. There are many issues with doing a deal with Dwayne Davis. Last week, the Sun revealed that Keefe's lawyer believed he should be allowed out of jail to make money from any connections he has to Tupac Shakur before standing trial, right? The ex-drug dealing Los Angeles Crip enforcer has been trying to make a movie or TV series about his gang life and his connections to Pac, Biggie Smalls, P. Diddy, and Suge Knight for several years. Keefe D's lawyer, Carl Arnold, believes Keefe should be allowed to work film and TV deals about his knowledge of Tupac's 1996 killing, even though he has pled not guilty to his murder. Arnold insists Judge Kearney incorrectly referenced Nevada's Son of Sam or Slayer statute at his last bail hearing, which prevents killers from profiting from the writings or shows about their crimes. Now, so Keefe D's lawyers saying that they want to do a television show, and like I said once again, in following them around and preparing for the trial, I could see something like that going on. You know what I mean? But when one wants to do this because of their legacy and Keefe D's lawyer, and you know, the way that it comes across, it just doesn't make any kind of sense, right? You know, they were saying people that boasted about, you know, them trying to make serious money from TV and media with a potential film deal. Now, I understand the desires to want to do something like that, but like I said, the Los Angeles, who they spoke under the conditions of anonymity, basically saying that they would find it problematic that somebody would want to spend millions of dollars on now what Keefe D is all calling a lie, including his book. You see what I'm saying? So it's like fumbling, like having the bag in your hand and then fumbling the bag and then kicking the money all over the place once the bag has been fumbled. And now the wind blowing and blowing all the money away, if you will. And so, like I said, Keefe D's lawyers basically saying that, you know, he's gotten a few offers on the table. You know, no contracts have been signed or anything like that yet involving what that would be. Like I said, and it's a possibility. Like I said, this is not about the condemnation of Keefe D in his situation. These are just the facts as what they're from what Keefe D's lawyer is saying, right? He's basically saying all of these things, right? But the funny thing that I have is Keefe D's lawyer basically said, when he's dead and gone, not Keefe D, when I'm dead and gone, we have to preserve this thing. It's a legacy. It's a legacy case. He admitted of the deal, basically, from Keefe D's lawyer talking about doing a television deal. And so it's like Johnny Cochran, O.J. Simpson lawyer, we could still go watch the old film of him, and that if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, right? And so Keefe D's lawyer is hoping to capture this in a reality style type TV setting, and the likes of the OJ trial and the Michael Jackson situation and all of these other things. He said basically, and so that's what I'm saying. This is a legacy, or one of those legacies that I'm leaving when I leave this planet. So of course, if somebody wants to film it, let's go. Right? And then it goes on to say it's unclear how Keefe D plans to pay Arnold for his services, given he had failed to raise bail sums of around $113,000 for his bail. Right? Now, I understand all of the. It is perplexing. It is perplexing. I don't. Like I said, I don't know. Me personally, I would have to. And at this particular point, Carl Arnold has tried to offer up different defenses for Keefe D, and I believe that it was already in the bag for, you know, things to come out and unfold like they unfolded. Like I told you guys, they already had the hotel receipts and everything from that perspective. They just made that as of news recently. And the money and fame thing, I really don't think is going to fly. So I think Keefe D's lawyers basically saying, hey, you know what? I got to make some money off of this situation somehow, some way, because if I don't know how Carl Arnold's being paid, but he got to make money some kind of way. So in getting Keefe D out of jail, you know, I don't know in the reconsideration hearing that's coming up on the 23rd, if they have some kind of new offer on the table or somebody basically vouching to pay the bail. But once again, I had said this before, that how do you now want to do a movie deal, or who's going to do a movie deal when you're saying that everything that you said was a lie? To do a movie deal, one would have to be willing to admit that everything that they're saying in their life story, if the book is about his life story, is true and factual. And that that basically amounts to a conviction, because they're going to use the statements from the book in court as well as other interviews. So this is so perplexing by the moment, right? Yeah, I really don't understand, but this is what they're basically saying. This is breaking news, if you will. That and then Keefe D had said, one day I'm going to make a film about my life and all this shit, right? So think about that. This is a quote from Keefe D. One day I'm going to make a film about my life and all this shit. So now, in the context of making a statement like that, right? And all what shit? And making it about your life. And because the book was supposed to be about his life, and he said as much in regards to that. Like, this is the real story. This is the truth. Don't listen to no police. Don't listen to no industry niggas. Go buy my book, right? Now, believe me, all of those statements will be used in court. They will be used in court. And so, that's why I say Keefe D can, he can still sell the rights to his book. The only way I see him selling rights to his book is if he takes a plea. And then everything basically is true in what he's saying. Is to believe to be true in what he's saying. That's the only way I can see that. Where people would be interested in it. You got to understand, you're dealing with Tupac Shakur. You're dealing with one of the biggest, if not the biggest rap superstar to ever, in the game that's now deceased from that perspective. And his light only shined brighter even after his death. So now, you're dealing with Tupac fans. Are they going to want to tune in to check in to see what that is? I don't think so. So what crowd do you then now try to capitalize off of, if you will, in dealing with the Tupac situation? Because we seen, murder rap. We seen, from what that was, and I think murder rap did well. Greg Kading's take on the situation, I think it did well. But now, so like I said, because that's what Greg Kading was promoting and pushing as being true. So people are interested in true, real life stories, not somebody saying, oh yeah, 1 minute it's true, this is what it is, and then when held accountable for what they're saying is true, thinking that they had some kind of immunity for it, right? Now that they've been held accountable for it, now they're saying, no, you know what? I made all of that up for money and fame. And that's a lie. The book ain't true, and none of this is not true. I don't see that really being an interesting story, as the television producer who spoke under anonymity said, right? Yeah, so this becomes more complex by the moment, if you will. Like I said, but the judge on the 23rd, we're going to see what happens if the bail reconsideration hearing, if Keefe D is allowed out on bail. And like I say, I do see something happen as far as them being able to follow, Keefe D's lawyer around, probably him interacting in that. And if he is let out on bail, I do see stipulations set on what he can talk about in regards to the Tupac situation. So some kind of gag order being placed on Keefe D in regards to what he can say and what he can't say in regards to the trial. That's not unheard of, but that's a slippery slope, because then you talk about a person's First Amendment rights, if you will, right? And their freedom of speech. But we shall see what happens with this. But this is the key part. Prosecutors referenced in more detail Keefe D's efforts to produce a TV series in a huge 179-page filing opposing his bail filed to Kearney on Thursday, right? And that was when, they came back and they argued what they had argued, and the bail was basically denied, right? And so now we still have that same evidence. So what I'm asking is, what has changed? And basically what Keefe D lawyer is saying is that, that, hey, Judge Kearney was wrong. His lawyer basically saying that that Keefe D, who remains innocent until proven guilty, right? has every right to make cash from his reputation. And Kearney doesn't have the authority to deny Keefe selling his rights. I don't think the judge was trying to deny him selling his rights, right? I think that she was basically saying that in him selling his rights, because he could, like I said, he could have did that without trying to get out on bail for that. The move was, I think, was made wrong based on the fact, okay, you want to buy the rights to the book, the rights to his life. Okay, go ahead and do that. Y'all do that deal. He can do that deal. She can't stop that deal, right? But then to somehow connect that to him getting out on bail and then saying it was for another reason, a gift or whatever else, at the time that was presented in court, right? So make the deal for his life, for your life rights. Now you have the money to get out on bail. You see what I'm saying? Versus connecting, and saying in jailhouse interviews, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to this TV show and all of these other things being said in regards to that prior to the bail even being the bail hearing, and knowing that they're listening to every phone call and recording every prison visit. It just didn't make any sense. And so that's what I saw that was like kind of not really a well thought out situation, if you will. And so Keefe D lawyer goes on to say that the Judge Kearney, is legally incorrect, and she doesn't have the authority to deny Keefe D selling his rights, even though he didn't sell them to Cash Jones, aka WAC 100, nor is there any proof of that. And I think Keefe D's lawyer's argument is wrong on this from this perspective. And the reason why I say that is because they had phone conversations, right? There was questions that was asked by the judge in regards to when she asked WAC 100, or should I say the DA asked him, was there any conversation in regards to it being any film deal, whatever. And so the connection of that being that he was putting up the bail and that was a conversation that was had, I think the judge found that problematic. So I think in that argument, she's right. But as far as selling the rights, Keefe D, if he wanted to sell the rights, he could have just sold them to WAC 100. You know what I mean? Like, look, this is what we're going to pay for him, X, Y, and Z, so on and so forth. And then from there, now, Keefe D can go and post his own bail with the money that he got from that perspective. So he sold his life rights. Okay, cool. His life rights is his life rights. But like I said, once again, when you double back on that, you double back on the life rights. And if there's any contract that's prepared to say that what's going to be said is true and accurate and factual in any kind of contract, movie deal, television deal, then now that places Keefe D in a catch-22, because now he's basically saying that everything in his book involving his life is true. So, yeah. It's gonna be so the 23rd. We're gonna see what happens. Like we're approaching that 2 days, and we're gonna see what happens. Like I said, I do see something if Keefe D is allowed out on bail. Something in regard to them following, the lawyer around, dealing with the preparation of the case, and probably even if the DA wants to, but I doubt the DA probably would want to participate. But hey, you just never know at this particular time. So we're gonna see what happens with this, man. It's about to get interesting. Like I said, so the 23rd will be, hopefully they'll broadcast that on television like they did the first one, and we'll see actually what goes on with that. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.